And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the first semifinals of the night, the semifinals of Sparkling Tuna Cup number 48. I apologize for the extended delay, for the extended break. We were waiting for Lunacy and Geralt to wrap up, but they are still in game, by the way. They're still mid-series, and the upper semis is ready instead. So we're going to be postponing the lower semifinals until this one does wrap up, and here we go. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Alkione, we have the Red Terran player. The Red Terran representing the Platinum Heroes, it is Nicoract. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the Polish Protoss player, the Blue Protoss representing Starlight Twinkle, it is Krystianer. And as we have entered the semifinals, and if you are in the chat, predictions are open. Place your bets on who you believe is going to advance on into the grand finals. Who will make it through first? Will it be our Terran or our Protoss? It will be up to you to decide. Best of luck. Again, you have a couple of minutes to place your bets, so use that time wisely. Best of luck in your predictions as we're settling into our TvP, and I'm excited. These two players, they face off many times, and I feel like they're both pretty comparable in skill. They've both been improving quite heavily here over the past couple of months. They've both been getting some better and better results. Of course, last night, Krystianer, he popped off. If you weren't here for it, I recommend checking out the VODs, because in Starlight Twinkle vs Basilisk, they made it all the way to the ace match, and Krystianer, he brought Rainer down to his knees. Massive upset with Krystianer, took him down and won it all for himself and for his team. It was crazy. It was beautiful. It's crazy. It was beautiful. And now we find ourselves the next day in Sparkling Tuna Cup. Oh boy, and for now, it is going to be a gate expand or gate cyber expand. Standard opener out of Krystianer. Meanwhile, economic opener out of Nicoract. Going for a single gas opener, going for the CC on the low ground. So far, very macro oriented. Very macro oriented. And yeah, I was even checking the clips that were made as well. Ronaldo pop off, let's go. Of Krystianer popping off last night versus Rainer. It was amazing to see. It was beautiful. As we have our takeoff choice, it is going to be a Twilight Council. Okay, so we mainly have two options. I mean, really three options: Robo, Stargate, or Twilight Council. Here in game one, we're going for a Twilight Council opener. This should be for Blink. The question is, how many gateways? It's a very safe way to play, very safe way, and it's very flexible as well. You can go 2-gate Blink into a third, 3-gate Blink to be a little bit more safe, a little bit more aggressive, to expand into a third base, or 4-gate Blink to move out across the map and apply as much pressure as possible. Different forms of aggression, different flavors for different players, and we'll keep an eye out on that gateway count. Likewise, Nicoract is going to do the same, as Nicoract going for a very greedy build, by the way. My apologies. It was not just a Rax expand. That is a CC before factory, before Rax. It's going to be a 3CC into 3 Rax. Oh boy. Björn, is that you? Björn has been quite fond of this as of late. Players like Björn, players like Q have been mixing it in as well. Very greedy here from our Terran player. Has been quite trendy, and on a map like Alkione, you can get away with this greed. Meanwhile, that's a gateway explosion. That's 4 gateways. That's 3 gates in production. That's the 4th gateway already done. That's going to be 4-gate Blink out of Krystianer. A very aggressive build, and Nicoract is in trouble. He's in a lot of trouble. This is just too greedy. We're cutting too many corners. Basically, by the time the army gets across the map, we're going to have a bunker. Yes, that's true, but no tanks. 0 tanks are going to be available. We might have a Marauder, but unlikely. We're going to be focusing on bio production or marine production. With double tech lab, never mind. There should be a couple of Marauders, but regardless, I want to favor Krystianer here in his push as the Reaper comes in, and the Reaper does scout everything. He does get eyes on 1 gateway here at the natural. He does get eyes on 3 gateways in the main. Nicoract knows bunkers on the way. Immediately we have a bunker in the main base. We need it. And at least Nicoract is mentally prepared, and now getting physically prepared as well. Second bunker on the low ground. So we have 2 bunkers on the low ground. We might even get a second bunker in the main base as well. Marauders are being prioritized. We need those Marauders desperately. Krystianer's pushing. He is pushing, and was Nicoract's scout too late? The bunker, it's barely not done. Was a scout too late in the end. Adept does get eyes on that second bunker. It will finish just in time. Does finish up. Krystianer, he does spot both bunkers. He rotates over towards the main base. We have a scan. Do have that bunker in position. Krystianer rotating around. Does rotate around. Heads towards the natural. Good blinks. But the bunkers are holding on. We pull the boys, we repair. We top that bunker up. Nicoract is holding. He is barely holding on here. Behind this, third base is on the way. Krystianer, he's transitioning. He's transitioning out of this two-base play into a third. And we dive into the main. Yeah, 2 volleys go off. Big pick off here. Bunker goes down. We're going ham on the Marines. We don't have stim. And no stim, but we do have combat shields. Boys, they have to be pulled. Good blinks here from Krystianer. Does get away. Whew. Does manage to blink away. The bunkers are empty. And we do manage to not quite sniper Marauder. Close pick off there. And Krystianer backs off. Nicoract holds. Nicoract, he does hold on. Going for a warp into the main. Denying the warp in even. Very nicely done. Nicoract, he's holding his own. He does have a third CC. He's keeping up in the economy. Even exceeding the economy of Krystianer. This 4-gate blink needs to get more damage done. As we go back in, there we go. A couple more SCVs going down. 5 workers, very nice. This is what Krystianer needed. As the Prism does rotate away. Krystianer getting ready here at the natural. Now, Krystianer at this point should not be pushing in. He should just be skirting around the edge. He's not going to be committing, but picking up whatever SCVs he can. Gets another worker here. Or tries to get another worker. In between the bases. Blinking on forward. Oh my god. Getting a Marine. Getting a Marauder even. Not bad. Observer is sniped. And Krystianer is fully saturated on 3 bases. Getting up to a 4th. Setting up for a 4th. And we should be taking up into our next form of tech here. Expanding our composition. Going for charge. It's going to be Blinkstalkers, Charge Outs, Immortals, and Archons. A very gateway heavy composition. We're avoiding the Colossi. We could go into Storm. That's also on the table. As Stalkers, they do get in. This time Nicoract is in position. Nicoract does hold, forcing the recall. Go for the scan. Nicoract, he's looking for the third base. Is pushing out. The medevacs are a bit exposed. Oh! Ooh, one gets sniped. Bit of miscontrol there from Nicoract to have one of those out in the open, or misrally even. And we're chasing down the army. Yeah, we got another medevac, another 2 medevacs go down. We're down to 1 and now down to 0. There's no sustain left. The army, we're running out of steam. We're running out of units here. Marines and Marauders are going down. Big cleanup here by Krystianer. Shuts Nicoract down. Mortal comes out to clean up. Oh. Yeah, does take down the last remaining Marauders. We go for the scan. Now Nicoract does confirm the third base. It's fully saturated. Speaking of, Nicoract has his own third up and running with 74 SCVs. But the bunkers are not done. Boys are being pulled. Good force fields. Yeah, very nice force fields here. But the SCVs, they put in a lot of work. They buy time. 15 SCVs go down, but we clean up every single Zealot. And now we're getting on top of these Stalkers. Oh, Krystianer bleeding out quite a lot there. Does take down the bunker. Oh, unable to juggle. Immortal goes down as well. Krystianer, he does overextend. He's in a lot of trouble. Oh, the Prism goes down as well. Massive pickoff. And Nicoract, he still has a worker lead, by the way. May have lost 15 SCVs, but is still ahead. And again, that was a big loss for Krystianer. He did overextend, fighting out of range of his War Prism, losing an Immortal. And now we have Archons. We did need them sooner. Looking at the units here, yeah, we're down to 3 Archons, 1 Immortal, 2 Zealots. We barely have a standing army. And Nicoract is snowballing out of control. Here we go. At the same time, Stalker counterattack, gets some SCVs. But Nicoract, he doesn't care. He's pushing. We have EMP. We do have EMPs available. And We do connect with the Zealots. Zealots, they melt. Archons are exposed. So far, good kiting out of Nicoract. Ooh. Does take a lot of Archon shots. Good juggling from Krystianer, but it's still not enough. And we focus on every single Archon. You can see that the army's overstimmed, but this was a good trade for Nicoract. He resets the Archon count. Ooh, almost gets the Immortal. Frantic juggling there by Krystianer, doing everything he can. And he does take down a lot of Marauders there, but it's not enough. It's a numbers game, and Nicoract, he's overwhelming Krystianer. Krystianer, he may be our Protoss player here. He may be a two-time back-to-back Sparkling Tuna Cup champion, but GG gets called, and Nicoract takes game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. A very greedy build initially by Nicoract, and I was so certain that he was going to be punished. But Krystianer took a little bit too long to counterattack. He was unable to punish the build of Nicoract, and Nicoract snowballed out of control. Krystianer, again, just overextending one too many times. And with that, we find ourselves with a 1-0 lead for Nicoract. As a reminder, it's a best of 3, which means we don't have much room to work with here. One more loss for Krystianer, and he's out of the tournament. That would be a big upset. When I say an upset, I do feel like these players are quite comparable in skill. But Krystianer, he has won Sparkling Tuna Cup 2 weeks in a row already. These past 2 weeks, they've been Krystianer's tournament. He's looking for the hat trick. He wants it. But Nicoract is here to stop it. Let's go. Let us go. Meanwhile, is that PvP still ongoing? No shot. No shot, Happy. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Side Delta, we have a Red Terran player representing the Platinum Heroes, leading the series 1-0, 1 game away from advancing on to the Grand Finals. It is Nicoract. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the blue Protoss player from the land of Poland representing Starlight Twinkle. It is Krystianer. Go. Here we go as Krystianer is going for his probe scout across the map. Meanwhile, across the map, Nicoract getting into his own opener as well. As a reminder, last game, Nicoract did go for a Rax expand. As a reminder, he went for a Rax expand into a 3rd CC, into a 3 Rax follow-up. It was a wild build, got away with it. I can't imagine he's going to do the same 2 games in a row, though. As we can see here, Nicoract going double gas this time. So a very stark contrast here to game 1. It's going to be a Rax into factory, it's going to be a delayed command center. Could even lead to a 1 base all-in. Could. Could lead to it, as for now the game is going to be settling down. Krystianer going for the gate expand into Cybercore. Bit of a greedier build here, but overall, everything looking as it should. Nothing too out of the norm. Really, my eyes are on Nicoract. Do we go for a reactor, for example, like Reaper into Reactor to Reaper Hellion? Speaking of, there's a reactor on the way. Do we go instead into earlier Widow Mines instead of a Hellion production? Earlier Tech Lab, earlier Tech in general? Do we go for a 1-1-1, 1 base all in? The answer is going to be no, as we have the CC on the high ground from Nicoract. Interesting. A very safe way to expand here. Nicoract going for a delayed CC on the high ground. Meanwhile, across the map, Krystianer once again going for a Twilight Council opener. It's going to be Blink, but how aggressive does Krystianer plan on being? Is it going to be 2-gate, 3-gate, or 4-gate Blink? What is the answer? What will we have in store for us? Hellion is spotted, so it's going to be Reaper Hellion. quite an aggressive start with this. I mean, thankfully the Hellion is scouted, so Krystianer should be walling off. His goal here is to wall off that natural, make sure that Hellions do not gain access to the mineral line, and then Krystianer has to only focus on the Reaper cliff to make sure that Reapers do not slip into any of these bases. And there's the full wall off. So good reaction here by Krystianer. He does have 3 gates for now. It's 2 gates on the way, 1 gateway already done. But we might end up cancelling one of these gateways, so it could just be 2-gate blink into a 3rd. Speaking of Hellions and Reapers, they have arrived. They try to knock down the front door. Getting some damage done, going for the Robo. Robo under fire. Likewise, good targeting on the Adept as well. No shield battery, by the way. Oh, Adept goes down. The probe as well. That should not have happened. Adept probe goes down for a Reaper. A Reaper and a Hellion. Meanwhile, the probe is kept safe, kept hidden. Blink is on the way. The gateways do finish, but yeah, we have to kill one of our own. A brutal moment for Krystianer. As Reapers attempt to dive in, they are zoned away. Are going to be zoned away. Krystianer finally breaking free. As he breaks free, we do have the Widowmine drop towards the main. 2 Widowmines towards the main base. Krystianer is focusing here on the aggression on the run by. Drop comes in. Oh, the probes. Big connections. 5 probes go down. Late reaction out of Krystianer, distracted by the Reapers. And that was worth it. Well worth it for Nicoract. Expecting 2 probe kills, but he got 5. Krystianer at the same time going for a counterattack, but we have 2 bunkers here on the low ground. A very big setup, an overreaction from Nicoract. Looking at his vision, it looks like maybe he was uncertain whether or not it was 4-gate blink. Blink Stalkers do get into the main, but there's only 4 of them. SCVs are going down. 3, 4, 5 SCVs. That's quite an amount of damage at all. We come back in. 11 probes. Oh god, 11 probes go down. Ay, ay, ay. That is a bit much. 18 workers in total. That's over a mineral line. Nicoract is miles ahead. He is ahead right now. He's in a good position. Dealing a crippling blow here to the economy of Krystianer. And 18 probes going down. And the pressure is on Krystianer to bounce back and to fight back. Now, he does kill 5 workers, which is good. It's a good start. Threatens the natural, rotates towards the main. Looks to rotate, but does stay outside. And I'm waiting for the eventual push here from Nicoract. I mean, he's got options. Either Nicoract pushes on 2 bases and pulls the boys, or he throws down a 3rd CC. It's going to be one or the other. And after killing all those probes, I could see a rationale for either one. If Nicoract is aware of how crippled Krystianer is, then we could just commit here and now. We are pushing. Reinforcements on the way. Nicoract moving out. SVs are staying back at home. First Colossus in production. Oh, sorry, second Colossus in production. First is already done. Here we go to push on across the map. Third CC's on the way for Nicoract. Not going all in. Good force fields. But we still want forward anyway. We don't even care. Tank shot's going to be going off. Massive volleys here on the Stalkers. Even forcing some friendly fire. Oh my god, as we barely don't save the tank. And Krystianer holds. Krystianer, he does hold on here. Forcing Nicoract back. That was a pretty big pickup there to get 2 tanks. 2 tanks went down. Ay, ay, ay. Krystianer is holding on. We want Nicoract going for continued drop play. Staying back in with his tank. 3rd CC still in production. And we have a back and forth. do have a game. Fourth base on the way for Krystianer. I still think Nicoract has quite a bit of momentum, but he is going to be spotted by the probe. Krystianer does rotate over. Does rotate over with his stalkers. Oh, we bleed out a stalker. Speaking of, medevac under fire. Medevac does get away. Managed to get away in the end. Drop towards that third base. There's a Colossus in position. Good target firing at the Nicoract. Gets two. The third base is now being taken. And the game is settling down. The game is settling down, and given the game state here, I mean, Krystianer has a solid army. He's got 3 Colossi. Now he's getting into Disruptor production. By the time he gets his 4th up and running with additional gases, then we can go into Disruptor production as well. No, I should emphasize it. Double Robo, double Disruptor production as well. Once we get the 4th. We're almost there. Meanwhile, Nicoract, he's getting his 3rd up and running and is taking up into Vikings alongside Ghosts. So far, going for the correct moves, going for the correct composition. But Nicoract did end up losing a lot of his army. As a result, not as ahead as he otherwise could have been. The other big thing as well, after Nicoract killed 18 probes, it actually took him a long time to throw down the 3rd base. That's why, I don't know if you noticed, but I kept panning towards the mineral line at the natural, just because I was expecting the boys to be pulled, but they weren't. And eventually we threw down the 3rd. But again, it did feel quite late there for Nicoract, so wasn't able to quite capitalize on it as quickly as he otherwise could have. There's that second rover, again for double disruptor. Krystianer is pushing. Army supplies are comparable. I would still give the edge to Nicoract overall, but the engage is going to be all that matters. How good are the EMPs going to be? How good are the Novas going to be? Can the Vikings outposition the Stalkers and lay siege upon the Colossi? There's a lot that comes into this, and the Observer does go down. Still around by being set up towards the 3rd. Prism drop into the main. Krystianer ready for a tri-pronged attack. His main army, his Zealot run by, and the drop. And the warp in. Correct. Looking for the main army. Warp in is in. The warp in does complete in the main. Zealots flood into the mineral line. At the same time, we pull the trigger here at the 3rd. The main army does not commit though. Interesting. Zealots push further in. Again, I feel like this main army could have pushed a little bit further. We got 13 SCVs. Even a couple more. Zealots are cleaned up in the main. They get shut down at the 3rd base. 14 SCVs go down. Nicoract is holding. But does take a lot of economic damage. And with that, Krystianer takes a big worker lead. Nicoract was holding his own. Now Krystianer has maxed out. Nicoract not quite there yet. How many Vikings? 9. Not bad. 9 Vikings. Prism slips in once again. Do we have anything at home to defend? We have a handful of Marauders. 3 Marauders and a Marine. Army's going to be clashing. Shows the Novas. Never goes up. Up. Big connection. Big connection on the army. The 2 others did whiff in the end. Overcharge is popped. We barely do not keep the Colossus alive. 1 Colossus goes down. Krystianer is keeping up with the main army. And we do have another Nova available. And we collapse on forward. It was a bit premature. They do get wasted. Oh, another does connect. And Vikings are being shut down. GG gets called. Krystianer, he annihilates the army, and we have a tied series. We're going to the ace match. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Krystianer again able to recover, able to stabilize after a pretty brutal start to the game. But I did mention before that I do think a big moment there was after the economic damage, the fact that Nicoract did take a long time to start a 3rd. He was on 2 bases for what looked to be a little bit too long there, especially after getting that much economic damage done. Like from that moment, you either want to go for an all-in or be hyper greedy, like one or the other. And we had kind of like an in-between where we went for like a standard push timing, and then we took a third base behind it as well, and it's like we weren't quite able to capitalize. And GG, well played. We're going to the ace match. All the way, Bobby, all the way. And how will this story end? Where will this series take us? Will we have Krystianer making it to the finals 3 weeks in a row, or will Nicoract, our Terran hope, make it to the finals instead? Boy. We shall see. Meanwhile, we have an update. The lower semifinals is now ready for us. It looks like Geralt took down Lunacy 2-1. It went all the way to the ace match. I'm quite impressed. Quite impressed there by Lunacy to force that ace match. And that lower semifinals is going to be played out after our current series after this game. We will jump into those lower semifinals, but for now, spawning in the top left-hand corner of Ghost River, we have the red Terran player representing the Platinum Heroes being forced into the ace match. It is Nicoract. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the blue Protoss player representing Starlight Twinkle. It is Krystianer. Here we go. Oh, hello there. As Nicoract is moving out across the map very fast, very quickly. This looks like an eBay block. Yep, looking at the rally here, we're poised to go into the natural. This is going to be an eBay block opener from Nicoract. It's going to be a way to disrupt the start of the game. Now, what's scary here, as you can imagine, is that on Ghost River, there's only one third base location. Unlike on other maps where you have a third, like a linear third and a triangular third to choose between, here there's only one, which means this eBay block is that much more brutal. The eBay has been thrown down, and boys are being pulled. Krystianer does want to fight for this base. And yeah, that's going to be quite a little spine time. Again, if Krystianer tried to expand elsewhere, then Nicoract would be there to stop him. Would be able to respond to stop him. But this is a nice start here for Nicoract, just forcing 5 probes off the mineral line. Again, they're just force the DPS down to this eBay. We do force to cancel. There's that Nexus now on the way. And thankfully, Krystianer did scout it in time, was not forced to make a Zealot. Back at home, Nicoract going for a Racked Expand. Economic opener out of Nicoract. Did throw a wrench in the works in the opener of Krystianer, but going to be able to recover. And the game will progress. The game will continue. Game will continue from here. And from this setup, we have seen a Twilight Council opener every game so far by Krystianer. So I'm curious if we commit, and that is not the case. We're going for a Robo. Okay. It's going to be a Robo opener. Reaper comes in. Oh, Nicoract, it looks like he does not get the scout off. He's zoned away by the Adept. For now, we get 1 probe kill. Good pick off by Nicoract, but the scout is denied. And what's important here is that it's a Robo. Okay, now with a Robo-based opener, we could go a couple of different directions. If this was a standard player, I mean, if this was just a standard game with a Robo opener, I would assume it's going to be a Disruptor drop. I assume Robo into a Bay, into a Warp Prism, into Warp Prism speed, with Disruptors as well. Otherwise, oh, sorry, what am I saying? That would be the case if this was against a Zerg player. Here against a Terran, I would assume this would be for a faster Colossus. Speaking of, there's the Bay. So I'm a little bit torn here. This should be for faster Colossi. If this was a Zerg player, I would say Disruptor. But this is quite greedy here from Krystianer. Bay is in production. Now, typically we'd see a Protoss player be safe and go for an Immortal, but we are skipping the Immortal entirely here. And we're going straight for the tech. Prism coming out first. Reaper will scout. Reaper confirms. We get eyes on the Robo and the Bay. Nicoract, he sees everything he needs to. Back at home, we're following this up with a 3 racks. And Colossus hard counters this. Wait, how did he know? That's crazy. our builds have been whipped out, and again, Krystianer, he hasn't seen the main base, but the way that this build works, going for a fast Colossus, would shut down bioplay. And there it is, Colossus in production. So 3-Vaxes used to be very meta back in the day. I'm talking like, what, 2020, 2019, 2018, 2020. It used to be very commonplace. And because this was so common, because it was so meta, it was very common as well for Protoss players to respond with a Robo Opener into fast Colossus. And with this Colossus Opener, you shut down and you just walk all over any kind of mass Marine-based army. And Nicoract knows that's coming. Here comes the Colossus drop with Warp Prism speed. Colossus drop is on the way. And again, this opener, this build, it's supposed to be ideal against specifically what Nicoract is doing. Krystianer doesn't even know, by the way. But there could be some history here. It's possible that Krystianer and Nicoract have faced off many times, and maybe this is Nicoract's go-to. Is investing into a lot of Marauders, though. That's interesting. Very Marauder heavy. Drop is moving out. Nicoract here avoids the drop, moving out across the map. The build has been spotted. And Krystianer does have to get ready back at home. Again, this is a beefy army here from Nicoract. The Colossi would have a hard time shutting down those Marauders. Speaking of, back at home, the third base is so exposed, we should be able to force a cancel. But SCVs are going down. And a lot of workers falling here to the Colossus drop. At the same time, we get across now. We force a cancel on the Nexus. Krystianer is contained. It's going to be contained. The Colossus. Oh my god. Colossus is going to be harassing the army. Swiping away at whatever we can. Just him in. Nice dodge there with the juggling. And you can see here, as long as you have some micro, like the bio army just melts. That was what, 10 Marines going down, 2 Marauders as well. All we need is a couple of swipes from that Colossus. The Marines crumble. And speaking of, now we're going for a big counterattack. How many Colossi do we have? We have 2. 2 Colossi already out. So the Marauders are doing what they can. But they are overstimmed. They do focus on at least the Adepts and the Sentries. Decent juggling there. Barely saved one of the Colossi. Looking at the battle report, that was 9 Marauders, 7 Marines for 6 Adepts, 2 Sentries, and a Stalker. Still a better trade for the Protoss, I want to say. And hey, we still have our Colossi, and we're going for some more drops. Main army's pulling back. This is drop towards the natural. SCVs are going down. And Nicoract just now working on his own 3rd. Meanwhile, Krystianer is freely mining from 3 bases, now working on a 4th. Krystianer is looking quite comfortable. The Vikings will change things. Thankfully, with War Prism speed, the Prism does manage to out-race those Vikings. Does make it back home. Let's make it back. Nicoract looking to catch any stray units. We shouldn't be committing to any of these bases. Nicoract has to be very careful. Speaking of, never goes up. Gets a Marine. Does get a singular Marine. Third CC still in production again. Quite delayed here. He's finishing up. Is it finishing up? Nicoract establishing his 3rd. Getting up and running. Meanwhile, behind this, we have double robo production. Extended double lands finally going to be on the way. That's something we've been lacking here for quite some time, but now we can invest. Disruptors are amassing. Second robo. Upgrades. Prism does manage to somehow slip in. 7, 8 SCVs. Oh, we're not done. Okay, 9 SCVs go down. We get a 10th towards the end. The Prism still alive, still barely avoiding the clutches of the Vikings. But I spoke too soon. Up, the Vikings. What a mess. One more volley, but yeah, the War Prism speed a little bit too good. The Prism does slip away once again. And you can see here, like, the disparity in supplies. Like Krystianer, so comfortable, almost maxed out. And again, like, the build orders themselves, it was just such a shame. It was just so unfortunate for Nicoract to be going into 3 racks against a robo opener of all things. Like, it was just so unlucky, so unfortunate there. Both players did gamble. And Krystianer did gamble correctly there. I'll say get dropped once again. Finally, the Prism is going to go down. It should go down, but no, we get away. No shot. Hey, War Prism speed, it's insane. Krystianer, he can't be caught. Does slip away again. Does slip away. He's pushing forward. Krystianer, he's maxed out his up 50 supply, and now we're collapsing on the base. On the fourth, Novas go off. Decent connections on Marauders, on Marines. Novas going off once again. No major connections. We even misrally one of those disruptors into the main force. Good catch there from Nicoract. No, as they fan out once again, big connections. And even if every disruptor just went down, Krystianer would still have too much, as he does reinforce with more zealots. Stalkers. Does dive in. Nova catching some of the Vikings as well. Bit of friendly fire. Well worth it for Krystianer as he's snowballing out of control, collapsing on the main army. We have a handful of Marauders left. Here come the reinforcements. GG gets called. The writing was on the wall, and Krystianer takes the series 2-1, advancing on to the grand finals. GG. GG, well played. Oh. Congratulations here to Krystianer, but a big shout out to Nicoract for fighting back, for forcing the ace match. Again, it was just unfortunate. That the build orders, the initial openers, were what they were, and yeah, it was a bit of an uphill battle for Nicoract, just getting pulled apart by the initial Colossi. And I mean, shout out for Krystianer for making use of them the way that he did, and for going for that opener initially as well. GG. GG, well played. With that, Krystianer, he once again reprises his role in the grand finals 3 weeks in a row. And who will face off against Krystianer? Will it be Wayne or Geralt? Oh boy.